There's been a lot of chat recently disparaging the benefits of mint, people. And I'm about to dispel all those negative comments about mint because mint is amazing. And if you're not convinced by the end of this video, I failed. I simply failed.
Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave.
Hello and welcome to the Bowtie Florida room, where we were going to be outside, but the kids next door are playing and having so much fun. I didn't want to disturb them, and I've got a great place right here to do all the recording I need to do. So we're going to do it in here. I brought some things in, and we're going to take care of this problem inside. Now, to start off with this, we are going to talk about mint. Now, I just bought me some peppermint from Bonnie Plants at my local big box store. You can also order mint from places online. I wish I could remember the place I ordered my chocolate mint from, but it was very neatly packed in a little box and it was easy to pull out and propagate. So we got planted around the front of the property in several of these pots. And it's great. I like the chocolate mint. I've got to try the pineapple mint. That's one that's going to be next for me. But I'm going to be keeping this around the property. And we're going to talk about here near the end the big reason that's going to convince you why growing mint is such a good idea. And I know that someone out there, Chad, has been talking against mint, but we are going to deal first with planting responsibly. Now, folks, I have got to say, I've been having a really good conversation with a user named Humblebug on another video. When you see that symbol right there, that means there's a link down in the description of this video, and you can go see that video, and you can see the comments that have been going. It was a really good conversation, and Humblebug called me out, and I thank you for that, because I was calling things aggressive and invasive wrong. Just frankly put, wrong. Now, we're going to talk about the sunchokes and what we're going to call sunchokes in the future a little bit differently. But this is more about mint. Now, mint is native to parts of America. And so in America, I think they will call these aggressive, not invasive. And so correct me if I'm wrong, Humblebug, but I think that's where we're going here. It kind of changed my paradigm a little bit, and I'm actually going to be changing some things in the garden because of that conversation. But the mint. Now, people have had a lot of trouble with mint and its aggressiveness. Mint does grow aggressively if not planted responsibly. You know, if you have a vehicle and you use that vehicle irresponsibly, it can become extremely dangerous, right? If you use a vehicle responsibly, it can be very beneficial. And mint is just another vehicle. And I really need to emphasize how important this is, because mint, if planted in ground, in fact, planted in ground, if I plant it over here by the cathedral oak, right in this space, oh, it looks great. It's kind of off here by itself. And you just look up a little bit and you can see, no, there's a golden ground right here that it's going to spread out, and in a couple of years it will have covered all of this area. So you don't just plant it in ground. I've never planted it in ground. I'm not going to. In fact, back in Arkansas, it is so funny. Our neighbors across the street, and they were about 1/10 of a mile away. We were way out in the country. The neighbor across the street planted mint in one of their garden beds. Within 5 years, it was in all their garden beds. It was nuts. And so, yeah, it will spread if you're not careful with it. But we're going to talk very first about being responsible with mint, because we're going to get down to some of these other points here in a few minutes, and you're going to be convinced by the end of this video. If you're not, like I said in the beginning, I failed, because mint is amazing. Mint does a lot for us. It can outcompete other plants for nutrients, which is a really bad thing, and we don't want to let it outcompete our precious plants. But it is very easy to control how mint will grow and how to keep it from competing with other plants. And that's what I have sitting out right here. You notice we have a selection of these pots here. We have a couple of grow bags. We have a big pot right here. These are what I grow mint in. And the great thing is, This soil doesn't have to be super high quality anything. It really doesn't. I will rarely ever do any supplements to the bags I grow mint in, just because mint grows great on its own. In fact, you'll notice there's a strawberry leaf here. Here's one of my little invasive trees. Oh, it even has a seed on it. One of my little invasive trees that grows everywhere. It's got a bit of clover in here, either clover or sorrel. Let's see which it is. I believe it is clover. Yes. And things grow in it. It's fine. You pull it out. Mint is so aggressive that it'll actually take over anything you planted in. It will take it over so much that it will protect itself inside a pot. If it has walls, if it has boundaries, it knows where it's going to spread, it'll typically keep everything out of it quite well. There are a few things. This little invasive tree that we've got, it will grow those. Our dollarweed is a little bit of a nuisance, but dollarweed pulls out real easy. The mint, on the other hand, it is wonderful because you can contain it. Now, I would not plant mint in a small pot like this, because you try to contain it in here, it's going to grow out the bottom. You got to have some drain holes. It'll grow out the bottom through the drain hole. It will spread, I guarantee. This is not enough space to contain the mint. I've never had any of the mint get out of these heavy grow bags. These are Guardszen grow bags I got off of Amazon. It's a pretty good price for them. They're just cheap black grow bags, and I've had them for years, I tell you. You want something big enough to where it will feel comfortable growing there. These 25-gallon grow bags, it actually is a 25-gallon grow bag. The sides are folded way down here. But these 25-gallon grow bags gives them plenty of room to spread out. And these 10-gallon grow bags, it's the same thing. You'll notice I've got these things filled pretty deep with soil. So these things are going to be doing pretty good, and they'll have plenty of room for their roots. They will grow up. Every once in a while, take your hedge trimmers and go hack the whole thing off when it gets out of control. And they will grow out. I've actually had them grow out. They'll grow over the edges and fill this thing huge. And the mint smell, you just walking by it, you can smell the mint. And we'll talk about why that's important here at the very last point. So be sure and stick around. First off, I do need to know, are you growing mint? Are you growing mint in ground or in pots? I want to hear. And if you're growing in ground, I'd like to hear if you're having any troubles with it. Now, I know some places up north, you grow mint in ground. It serves as an annual and it dies at the end of the season. Totally different situation. I'm here in Florida. This stuff grows year round. And if left unchecked, it can go crazy. And that was the problem Chad had. If you get it in a bed, it is almost impossible to get out. It is not impossible. I said almost impossible. And I've actually been dealing with the air potato invasion. That's a very invasive plant because it's not native here and it just spreads everywhere. Even that, as tough as it is possible to get it out of the garden. It's possible, some of you know, that you can get comfrey out of the garden, as I've almost killed all the comfrey in our garden before I realized what it is. If it does get in the yard, it is easy to take care of. And we'll talk about that by looking at these roots. Now, this Bonnie plant is looking just robust. There's a lot of roots in there. It's growing strong, and I love the way it looks like. They've been planting it in maybe peat moss or cocoa coir or something like that. I can't really tell which they're planting it in. When they grow in these things and they come to you, you want to get something that's nice and thick-rooted like that. I just opened that up, and you can see there's just tons and tons and tons of roots in there. And yeah, that was kind of traumatic for the plant overall, but you know what? It doesn't matter. These things can handle the trauma. Propagating these things out is very easy. Now, let me tell you why I'm doing peppermint right now, and that is because all the peppermint in my backyard died this last year. Moment of silence, all the peppermint died. It's my second favorite mint out there, and it all was dead because of the loofah drama. And if you haven't seen that, you see the symbol here. There's a link down there. You can go look at what happened with our loofah this year. It kind of took over everything and killed off of my peppermint. So I was very sad about that. But we're doing it again because peppermint is, yes, that important. And folks, you see I just tore it in two. I can take this and tear it into a few more pieces. That's enough right there. Whoop. Well, maybe not. Yeah, that's enough right there to grow a new peppermint plant. And all I am doing is sticking it, I'm going to go ahead and put it in here, sticking it down in there to where a little bit of the green is popping out. That is all it needs. It doesn't need much. Now we're going to be watering these in really good before when we're done. So they will get some love here in just a little bit. So yeah, I'm kind of feeling down here for the stems. I'm finding a place where I can pull it apart, and I'm going to take and pull that right there. I broke off a couple of the top stems. Not really worried about it. We just want, see now, that's 2 perfect plants. I'm going to plant this little piece here. I actually broke a stem off there, right there. Oh, looky there. It actually has roots on it. It has 1 root. Can you see that 1 root in there? That can go into the soil, and it will grow. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick off a few of the leaves off the bottom of this. There we go. And we're going to just stick that down here. Mint is so robust that will take off. So you'll notice I got them spread out in here. And I got 1 more piece here I'm going to, well, there's 2 more pieces here I'm going to plant. We'll put 1 in each of these grow bags. But folks, this is easy stuff to do. It is not something to be afraid of because, yes, it is so aggressive. And you can see in there, those roots will take off. Now, this soil right now is pretty dry. The irrigation system did go off and hit this bag right here, but it didn't really do too much. Now, that's all I'm going to put in that bag. By the end of the season, this bag will be full. This bag will be completely full with peppermint, and I'm very happy about it. We'll take this one here. In fact, I'm going to put this one here in this 25-gallon bag. Now, this bag is a little bit low. Actually, what I should do, I need to... Now, this big 25-gallon bag, it's got a few things living in it, and it's okay. It's been sitting kind of undercovered, but all these bags have, so a lot of the stuff has died in here, and a lot of the seeds are spent. There's leaves. It's fine. It'll survive. It will thrive, in fact, because mint just does that. It is a very survivable plant. I'm just going to pour some of this potting soil in here, and that's actually, I believe this may be what's in these pots to begin with, is some of this same potting mix. But that's going to be pretty good. Basically, I'm wanting to make sure that the roots have plenty of ground to cover, plenty of depth to keep them out of the earth below. And so, simply done, right there. I have another piece, there it is. We're just going to be taking that piece and sticking it down in there. And there's a little piece kind of out the side. This is going to take off. Start watering this, folks. It's going to take off. It's that simple. Don't be afraid of mint. Do not be afraid of mint, even though it is thought to be inaccurately invasive. It is not invasive. Thank you, Humblebug, for pointing that out. It is native to this country. It grows here. It is aggressive. And I want to, and the big point that Humblebug brought to me was, you know, we do these videos because we're trying to encourage people to grow beneficial things, and this thing is beneficial. We'll talk about that here right after this point, but I want to be sure to be the one to encourage you to do something beneficial like that. I'm going to put this 1 more plant in that bottom bag right there, and I'm not even being gentle with these, folks. This is just going to go out in the garden somewhere, get watered next time the irrigation comes on, and it will be fine. It is as simple as that. It really is. So there's 3 grow bags of mint and a 4th bag of mint. What was in here? This was a carrot bag. This had carrot. Oh, there's something growing in it. We'll take that out. But same thing, folks. We're just going to stick this in here. Now, the next thing I want to show you, now, I have different kinds of mints. I've got spearmint, I've got peppermint now, and I've got chocolate mint. And I want to show you what I'm going to do here. Now, mint, this stuff is going to last hopefully forever for me, because I'll go out and I'll harvest some. We'll stick it in the dehydrator, and we'll talk about what that's for here in just a moment. I want to show you some labels that I use. Now, I did get this little kit off of Amazon. It's not anything fancy. It was, I think it might have been $7. it's labels that are made of foil. They're foil labels, and you can see right there, it says test right there. That is actually written with a pen, but it doesn't do any ink. It indents the foil. In fact, you can see if I just press it, it makes a little bit of an indentation there. Well, that's what the end of a pen does for you. And this one came with some nice wire ties that will tie onto the handles of these bags. The reason I'm using this is because these grow bags are permanent growing situations. In other words, they're going to be growing in here, they're going to be staying in here. If I use these plant tags in here and if you saw the other video on cleaning these things, if I use the Sharpie Extreme that I use for these things, it would eventually fade. I actually have some of these that have been out there for many, many years and have completely faded because I didn't use the right marker or whatever, and I don't want that to happen. These things here will always be there. I have a chocolate mint out there, and if you look at the outer garden bed tour, one of the ones where I show chocolate mint, you can see there's a tag in there that says chocolate mint. And that's in the front garden now. I moved it. But that stays there forever, and I'll always know that's the peppermint or that's the chocolate mint. And so these things are great. So these foil tags, any pen, any pencil, whatever. Now, this book right here, we're going to be talking about here in just a second. It's a fantastic book. Guy over at Next Level Gardening has a new name now. I'll have to come up with that in my brain here in just a bit. But notice here, as I'm writing on here, this is going to be the peppermint. And I just put on here peppermint in my very scripty looking writing. And you can see that will be on there permanently. And it will never go away. These are little aluminum foil pieces of heavy, kind of a heavy aluminum foil. And I'll take one of these little twisty ties, and we will tie that onto the handle of this pot. And I will forever know that this is my peppermint. These are just cheap little twist ties, but they seem to work just fine. And that's it. And of course, you want to be sure to label like this so that you know which mint is which, because you may become addicted to this stuff and really learn to enjoy it and how to use it in your own yard. So yes, I got labels on everything, and I am very happy about that. Now let's get serious about this, people, and have a little sit down here for just a minute with you naysayers out there, because there is a lot of great stuff about mint. First thing, of course, have you ever had mint tea? I personally love mint and ginger tea. It is so amazing. I grow the ginger out there. I grow the mint in these bags, and I pick them, I dehydrate them, I stick them in a mix that I get all shredded up, and I use a little tea infuser, and we have this amazing ginger mint tea that has some health benefits. You can also, of course, make syrups with it and other things, but the health benefits of mint are really quite impressive. Number one, it helps with digestive health. It helps settle the stomach down when you're having anxiety. Anti-inflammatory properties. Sometimes if your brain is just running a mile a minute and you can't go to sleep, or you're just having anxiety, it will help with that. Just a nice mint tea will actually settle the brain. And of course, the last thing, of course, is to help boost metabolism and promote weight loss. And there are studies out there with this. It is marginal gains, but it is something that you can do. And if you enjoy mint, it's something that can be beneficial to you. I love the smell of this stuff. Okay, so now let's get serious, really serious. And that's where I come to this book. Now, folks, I really like this book. Brian Noel was one of the first people I started watching on YouTube when I was learning about gardening, and he goes through a lot of companion planting stuff with a whole bunch of stuff in the garden and some amazing results, but I couldn't find mint anywhere, and that kind of surprised me a little bit because, and folks, this is where that bias comes against mint, because people don't realize how good it can be. Now, if you watch any of my videos, you know that I have a bit of what looks like chaos going out there. But the thing is, with that diversity out there, I don't have very much insect problems. You know how often I have used neem oil or diatomaceous earth in my garden? I could count on one hand the combination of both items. I think I've used neem oil twice in 3.5 years, and I may have used diatomaceous earth 3 times in the last 3.5 years on this property. So why is that? And so many times I see people asking, what's a good earth-friendly, a good economical, a good environmentally friendly way to control insects? And folks, you're looking at it. Things like this and figuring out the diversity in your garden. And I have a goal. I'm hoping to have about a dozen bags of this stuff in the garden before I get done because of what this can do for you in the garden. And so the next big thing is companion planting. Now, planting mint next to your tomatoes is not going to make minty tomatoes, okay? It doesn't work like that. But here's a list of a few things, and I've got a list printed out here that I'm going to read off of. A few things that don't like to be around mint. So some of those things: aphids, carrot root fly, cabbage moths, spider mites, white flies. Anybody dealt with any of those? I'm sure a lot of you have. If you have not yet, you probably will. Okay? Those are, in my opinion, not the serious reason why to grow mint, though. Are you ready for this? Now, this is a product that I've been using for a number of years, and we spray this in our attic. We have a rat problem. Just straight up, we have a rat problem. The house that we live in, it wasn't done well when they added on the vinyl siding, and there is a gap between the vinyl siding and the cement siding underneath it in places where rats get into our attic on rare occasion. And it's a little bit annoying, yes, but you know what? If I keep this stuff sprayed in the attic, you know what doesn't go into the attic? Rats. Yes, mint will keep away rats. And not only will it keep away rats, it will keep away, and here's a few things that you've had trouble with in your garden. It will keep away mice. It'll keep away, ready for it, raccoons. It'll keep away squirrels. Anybody ever had a trouble with squirrel? Put a lot of these around your garden. I've actually seen squirrels. They will run. If you look at my garden tour in the back raised gardens, you can see I have not a pergola thing out here. They'll run across the top, but when I've got mint growing in the garden, they don't come down into the garden very often. Now, right now, I don't have much mint out there, and they have been digging in my freshly mulched garden beds a little bit, and it's kind of discouraging, but they're about to get scared off, and scared off good. So I'm getting excited about that because we're going to be with less squirrels. Now, folks, nothing that you do naturally like this is going to be 100%. It's going to be marginal gains. This deters most squirrels. This deters most raccoons. This deters most possums. It will certainly decrease your problem to a point where you can handle it. They won't be tearing up entire beds. I've also seen where possibly badgers, for you people in the UK, can be deterred with this stuff. I'd like to hear from Jess over at Plot 37 if she's used mint. I believe she's using mint over there. But anyway, a lot of benefits to using this and using it plentifully, but use it responsibly. And that's really what it gets down to. Used responsibly, that vehicle is really cool. And for me, I think it's very cool. And I have a lot of mint growing around my garden beds. So with that, I'm not going to make this video any longer. There's a lot more that it can deter. You can look up on Google AI and it'll tell you a whole list of stuff that mint will deter. If you're having problems with some pests, see if mint will deter it, and chances are it will. If not mint, something else will, and it's great. Like rosemary takes care of mosquitoes. We're going to have a lot of rosemary growing in our garden here pretty soon. I'm very excited about that. If you learned anything in this video, please click the thumbs up. I really would like to hear from people. If you're growing mint, if you have any information that I may not have, I love seeing your comments. I learned so much, like Humblebug and the other video that we had the conversation in. It was really a good point, and I had to concede the point that we need to be a little more careful in how we say and what we say, especially those of us who are creating YouTube content and influencing people to start something new that may be a little bit wary. Click the thumbs up, share this with a friend. I would appreciate that. We're trying to grow the channel still, of course. And let me know your experience. If you have any questions, use the comments below. I'm happy to answer questions when I can. Y'all have a blessed day.